Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
That could actually make sense with pull my finger.
Wow.
Because pull my finger, if your finger was in your backside, then pull my finger
the cannon hole.
Yeah, exactly.
You're letting the black powder out.
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every single week chooses a popular saying to take a shallow but hopefully comedic / interesting.
We are just tossing the sausage
into its meaning,
down
its usage,
Odonelly Street.
Oh no, its origins, but we're also going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I am Patio Lantern.
In other words,
I'm Casey O'Finnegan.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Which is not when you're listening to this.
No.
It's when we're recording.
No, it is actually St. Patrick's Day today for us.
Yeah, we're a couple days early. You're going away?
Heading out of town. I appreciated earlier in the day you brought drinks into the office.
Little something green and milkshakey like.
Little snot shakes.
Snot shakes.
Little St. Patrick's Day. What flavor is that?
Shamrock.
The shamrock. That's what shamrock steak tastes like.
Is that a word outside of that fast food restaurant?
A shamrock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are shamrocks.
Like these little green
clovers.
Like a clover.
Is a 4-leaf clover a shamrock?
I don't know. Isn't there a car called the Shamrock?
There's a ShamWow.
Wow.
Shampoo. Champagne.
Shamu.
Shamwich.
Just a sham.
Just a sham. Yeah.
Shamsterdam.
Oh, nice. I don't know what a shamrock is. Why shamrock? Seems like something we should have Googled before coming in here.
It must be something to do with the whole clover situation.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
has to be.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'd just be clover.
It is. And not many people know this about how infectious the clover is.
What do you mean?
It's infectious. It has they're not good, aren't they?
To eat?
Yeah.
You can get an infection by eating a shamrock?
I don't know.
That's why I gave you a shamrock shake today. Speaking of infectious,
what is infectious?
Which I'm sure is where you're going with this, is for the first time, as you know, a very serious subject with the COVID-19.
It's the Village Covidium.
The Village Covidium. Did you just make that up? This is the first time that we are actually recording without a studio audience.
Yeah, it's really unusual. Really hard without that live interaction.
Yeah.
But we're gonna press through.
We were first. It was limiting gatherings of 250. We're like, okay,
we can still make
cut it off at 249.
Yeah, we'll just slip.
But
it
it
under the
recently
wire.
dropped down to 50 and then 10. I think.
Is it 10 now?
Yeah, in some places. I'm not sure about here, but
it's like
not all of our listeners are here.
My family and your family.
So in case you're listening
together
in an area in Washington State that restricts your gatherings of 10, we did this for you. Just the two of us.
Well, what about on the internet?
Well, just make sure you don't watch this at the same time or listen to this at the same time.
As long as you're watching
your
it 6 feet away from someone else.
Yeah,
you're in business.
Listen to it an arm's length away from somebody else, and you should be fine.
This is perfect. So we're done. We shamrocked.
Yeah,
it's been a good St. Patty's Day.
Yeah,
you have some Irish background.
Well, funny enough, have we talked about this yet? I got a DNA testing for Christmas, the 23andMe
That's
package.
Canadian. That's DNA.
DNA. And I got the results back. I don't know if we've actually talked about this. This might find this hard to believe. I am 100% as white as you can be.
Really?
That's what it came back. I'm 100. Well, it was 99.9% Eastern European. Now I forgot. European. Western European.
Where am I a peon?
So, German, English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is what I should have expected.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it shows.
Except you're like really good dancer and you can rap.
What? Have you never heard of an Irish jig? St. Patrick's Day.
There it is. Maybe that's what
Limericks? It is. Limericks is just Irish rap.
Do you think so? There was an old...
So I come by my hip-hop ways Irishly.
That's how you can end it out today.
Can you rap? Irish.
I'm not going there. I rap.
Oh my goodness! Well, we have an interesting idiom today because this is the first time where it's an idiom we have never used in our lives.
We thought we'd take it out of standard English, and so we're doing an Irish idiom today.
Yeah.
And so when we started looking them up, what are some Irish idioms? And some they're just some nonsensical.
Some not to us.
To
I'm
us.
sure some of the ones we use daily are nonsensical to another language speaker.
Sure.
But some were even when you read what it was about, I guess unless you are in that culture, you're like, that's stupid.
That's like throwing a potato down an empty street, or what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They're all potato idioms.
We chose one that sounded fun and had a little bit of meaning behind it. Here, let's get into it this way.
Sure.
I will admit, since this is not a average North American English anyway, North American English idiom, you know how hard it was to find any media clips using this one?
I'm sure it was very.
There was nothing
Difficult.
I found one.
It's easier finding
this is
one-eyed potato.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the series on TNT called The Last Ship?
No.
Me neither. This is from that show.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll be in their firing range in less than 30 minutes. Get your finger out. Come on!
That's it.
Get your finger out.
Get your finger out. Come on! Which I did discover it's actually more popularly said, pull your finger out.
Pull your finger out.
Pull your finger out.
Which, as you're doing research, is it's not a good thing. Let us do the research for you.
Don't let that be on your history of Googling.
It's right along there with, there's another sideways version, differing meanings about pulling your thumb out of your bum.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, is that a thing? I hope that's not a thing. Is that a thing?
I think it's just, I think it all relays back to, and we'll get into the origins, but it all relays back to the meaning behind this, which is get a move on. Like, hurry up. Like,
Right.
Get your finger out.
Get your finger out.
Yeah.
Which, when we get into the actual origins of it, it's kind of, but it's not like a thumb in your butt.
No.
It's nothing like that.
But there's definitely theories that it comes from, that the saying is longer. Get your finger out of your butt.
but it's not.
Which, if you're procrastinating and not doing anything, and that's your reason, that'd be the first thing to do. Why haven't you done your homework? I see.
I'm not a doctor, but that could be slowing you down.
Did I say procrastinating? I said
no.
Procrastinating.
Oh my goodness. There was another unrelated before we get into its actual origin. Did you come across like the World War II pilots one?
Yeah, that's the origins. You want to get into origins?
Well, there was a different origin that I...
Oh, would you... Okay, go ahead.
We'll get into it when we get into actual origins.
Yeah, because there's false origins and real origins, so we'll wait for origins. When I first read it, like when you suggested this one, my first thought was a much more popularly said thing in our culture anyway was pull my finger.
Right.
That's
definitely.
Right? So this is just for you.
Pull my finger.
Pull my finger.
Pull my finger. Come on! Pull my finger!
I said pull my finger.
Hey, pull my finger. My pleasure.
There you go. That one, easy to find media.
Lots of pull my finger.
Lots of pull my finger. One, get your finger out.
Right.
Yeah.
Pull your finger out.
There was ones unrelated to the idiom that we're going to talk about today. A lot of clips that was like, get your finger out of my face. Like you're scolding.
Right, that's this.
Yeah.
Where that finger wag.
And for those of you just listening, Skinny just did a Beyonce finger wag.
Finger wagged them, all you single ladies. All you three-leafed clovers, non-shamrock people. You heard me. It's good background you got going on here.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it Irish.
In the vodcast today, there's a little...
Everywhere you go, kids want a shamrock.
Everywhere you go, the kids want a shamrock. That's funny. It's kind of like Bryan Adams.
I know.
Yeah, kind of.
Brian O. Adams. Adams
Mitchell.
O'Brien. That would have worked better. Adams O'Brien.
There was, came across these, these funny names like that have like Gerald Fitzpatrick and Patrick Fitzgerald and things that they can go either way.
Right.
That whole patio lantern. They're stupid little sayings that are names like that sound Irishy.
You have some good ones?
No, because they actually, it seems like this whole thing goes back to your bum somehow.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why. Is that an Irish thing?
I think any generalizations we make right now borders on. Is it racism? Irishism, which neither of us are. We're just literally looking for content out there.
Right, you're just researching something. I didn't want to be offensive to anyone, but yeah, that whole I do like the that was my favorite of the two was Gerald Fitzpatrick and Patrick Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
patio lantern.
I don't want to go any further with either of those.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually in the world of cultural appropriation and all that kind of stuff. I am surprised Lucky Charms still exist.
It's a good one that you say that. So I've got a daughter in Costa Rica right now, and in her travels, she was like, "I'm going to be away for St. Patrick's Day," so she packed along her own Lucky Charms.
No way!
Just so she could wake up in Costa Rica and have Lucky Charms.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah, I'm like, that's fun.
When does she come back?
I should be back tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Yeah, with all the crazed nonsense going out there with the airlines and get back to your countries and all the rest of it. Yeah,
it's pretty serious.
Yeah, so last week it was mountain out of a molehill. Turns out it's kind of important.
Yeah, we were hesitant in making fun of the virus even a week ago, but
right.
Whether you've experienced it or not, or whatever your views on it, we do take it seriously. And if you're a listener and you're somewhere where you're kind of caught by it or quarantined, we're here for you. Hours and hours of listening while you're in your quarantine.
What was that funny thing that you heard about, so that people with all their spare time, that there may be
now that people are forced to be at home more.
It's like war babies.
It's like the baby boom all over again.
During that window of wartime when people were together so much, then there's 9 months later, there was a whole boom of babies come out, the war babies. And so this one, if
it's probably happening
people
again.
being quarantined together, that there's some sort of
9 months from right now,
some COVID type baby.
But the punchline was they said, but in 13 or 14 years, we've got Gen Xers and whatever, they'll be the
quarantinagers.
The quarantinagers,
which is just amusing.
It's good times.
People are funny.
Anyway, this whole thing, everywhere you look online, they're talking about it. It's totally gone viral.
That's sick. So Tuesday, this is how we cope.
It is how we cope.
Yeah.
How we cope COVID-19. And if you're only listening, a lot of people only listen. They don't watch on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And that's the COVID-19 episode. Oh, it's sad.
You can't even stop yourself. It's its own sickness. You want to stop it, you can't.
I can't. I would, if I was quarantined and having respiratory problems right now, I'd still be making these jokes, just for the record.
Yeah, that's just it. It's your coping mechanism.
It is.
Yeah, it's good. Well, let's get into some origins on this thing. Where does this little bad boy come from?
Well, I would love to tell you, but first, as always, we have to play a little bit of this that I didn't have ready, so here we go.
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind.
Origins. Very interesting origins on this one.
Yeah. Okay, so you had a false origin, or is that what?
I'm pretty sure it's a false origin.
Okay.
The World War II Royal Air Force, the RAF slang, that it was the pull your fingers out, chaps. There's an officer approaching. It was this pull your finger out was the finger in your bum.
Right.
Like, get a move on.
Look alive.
Look alive, soldiers. Pull your finger out. Like,
let's hope that's false. That there wasn't just soldier after soldier. If the commanding officer wasn't there,
there was they had their
fingers
own
were in the pudding.
Their own follow-up joke to it that they had. An RAF decoration award called the Most High Order of the Irremovable Digit.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
so for people who are like, that guy he's received high honors.
Just not doing anything.
He's received high honors. He's got the award for the irremovable digit. That guy's just so useless.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I know people like that.
We got an award for you.
We got an award for you.
It's an old British aviation
It's a rubber glove.
That's
your prize.
Some hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizers too. Like, speaking of fingers in anything, like you can't even find that on the shelves right now.
We're seeing some friends,
and with the lack of toilet paper,
a little later tonight, and so our friends live just
a few hours away.
Yeah, just a couple hours away, and they said, if you wouldn't mind, if you could bring us some toilet paper, because our city's cleaned out. Like,
wow.
And so they're like, we went here, no toilet paper. So this morning, my wife...
Our city's cleaned out, and we're not.
We're not. Bring cheese and toilet paper. So she went out nice and early this morning. She's like, went to Walmart. Nothing. It was...
Who, your wife did?
My wife did, yeah.
Oh.
And so, like, all bread-related products were gone and all paper products. And so she was there, like, 6:45, and it opened up at 7. I don't know if they just didn't restock or they just didn't have the supplies.
Right.
Went off to Superstore, and then she said they still had a few rolls left. So she was able to grab some. Just like, I just need to, like, my friends just want a few rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's so weird, the end times.
I was at Canadian Tire. If you're not from Canada, it's like exactly what it sounds like. It's more an automotive store than anything, but it's gone bigger than...
Yeah. There is some household.
And so I saw people just carts full of toilet paper leaving Canadian Tire.
So weird. It's like, that's sandpaper.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong.
That's not toilet paper.
Get some of that nice 200 grit. Feels good.
It's crazy.
Stay away from like the 60.
Anyway. Well, one of the theories, one of the more common theories out there is that, it kind of piggybacks on what you were saying, is that it does have its origins in the military. So cannons were loaded with black powder through a small ignition hole, which was held in place by a wooden plug. But when you're in the rigors of battle, the job was carried out by a crew member who, in a rush, would just jam it in with his finger, hold it in place.
Put your finger over the hole while I fill the gunpowder.
Exactly. And the artillerymen, anxious to engage with the enemy, when it was ready to roll, would just shout out at apparently they were called powder monkeys, shout out at the powder monkey, pull your finger out, get your finger out, so that he could pull the trigger.
Pull your finger out so that he could ignite the powder to shoot the shot.
Yeah. So that's the most, like, if you
the actual origin. Pull your finger out.
Turns out it's not the actual origin.
What is the actual origin?
I dug a little deeper.
Wow.
And if you go a little further with people who've actually quoting this phrase, I'll read this one straight out because I thought it was interesting. This was about a specific place that takes claim to the origins. And so a tour guide, if you're a visitor to the HMS Victory in Portsmouth, UK, you're likely to be told that the expression "pull your finger out" came as an instruction to the powder monkeys. Same story, pull your finger out for the cannon's fuse to allow the cannon to be fired. Not true. Folk etymology is working double shift here, they say. And this is the line I like. Firstly, the so-called explanation has come under the spell of canoe, and canoe is all caps. Canoe is the mythical, here it is, CANOE, committee to ascribe a naval origin to everything.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, and they listed a few others that have given either the RAF or other military branches in the UK attributed certain idioms and
like
phrases.
We're grabbing
to
this one?
Yeah. And most of them are not where they come from.
Interesting.
So secondly, if a tour guy said it, they said when it comes to the origin of phrases, the safest course is not to touch anything said by a tour guide, because it makes their tour more interesting to have these little tidbits, so they'll make up stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so a tour guide wants to find interesting things to say on the tours. They'll make stuff up, and they say suggestion. If you ever hear something like that seems too much to believe, just say, how do you know? And if the answer starts with, I was told that, or I've always believed that, yeah.
They're making it up.
They're making it up. They might have been told that.
Funny.
But so here's where it seems to rest on this. There was a phrase called "pull out all the stops," which began in the early 20th century in Australia. Might be an idiom we would have covered in the future. Not any longer. It was soldier slang, so still military, and it was taken up later by the British Army as wars continued on a global scale. And the first known use of it in print in this frame was the Australian Soldiers magazine in March 1919.
Wow.
Tell the bloke who issues the prizes to pull his finger out. So there it is, Australian.
Who issues the prizes to pull his finger out?
Yeah. So
Was he cheating somehow by?
no, it still seems to be procrastination. Still seems to be. It actually is more likely that it's a nod to a finger in your backside.
Really?
Like not literally, but like you're doing nothing.
Sitting on your thumb.
Yeah, you're sitting on your thumb.
And that's so funny.
So the
all comes
false
around to-
one is not a literal origin because no one.
Right.
It was just like a way of saying you're doing nothing, but it's like sitting on your hands or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a finger in your.
That's way more interesting.
Got a finger in your ringer.
That's way more interesting.
Yeah. So it was funny. It was kind of
Is
a
that
ping.
your ring finger? Is that where that comes from?
No. Wow.
But that could actually make sense with pull my finger.
Wow.
Because pull my finger, if your finger was in your backside, then pull my
releasing
finger
the
was
cannon hole.
Yeah, exactly.
You're letting the black powder out. Still all sounds better than the wooden plug they were describing.
So maybe that.
Yeah.
Maybe that is
maybe
where-
it's probably all joined together in
That
some
actually
way.
makes
Maybe
some
not ring
sense.
finger, but yeah, the pull my finger, the American crass pull
When
my
you
finger.
get married, you put it on your ring finger so that
no longer.
So no longer-
It's like a stopper.
it's terrible.
Pull out all the stops.
It's all merged in. Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
Yeah. So having whether it's pulling out the plugs or
Oh, there was
the ring finger.
There was one more. So there is. Have you heard of Partridge? I'm trying to remember his first name. I think it's Edward Partridge. It didn't go into the detail of it, but
From the Partridge
there was
family?
a longer saying that was take your
Bonaducci?
finger. No, not the Partridge family. Take your finger out and get stuck in. But it doesn't say the origins of that. But that came up a couple times. Pull your finger out and get stuck in, which had to do with couples. So it had to do with proposals and betrothals and stuff like that. Pull your finger out and get stuck in. So there's something there too.
Not like
but it
that.
still had to do with
I
procrastination.
got a two-step jump. Have you ever done one of the Chinese finger puzzle?
Yeah.
That actually works.
Get your finger out.
Get your finger out. You can't.
You can't.
The more you tighten, the more you pull away, the more it tightens.
Yeah.
And then this isn't an actual one, but I think everyone's kind of done it. Is perhaps differing versions. Maybe you're fishing for something behind your bed or something, and then your arm can go in one way, but as soon as your arm rotates, it adjusts.
locked in, the monkey fist.
It adjusts your forearm somehow so that it won't come out. Whether it's like grabbing something between slats and you can get it in, but you can't get it out.
Yeah.
It's
like
crazy.
the kid who gets his head between the rails.
I can't get my arm out. Yeah. You got it in there. There's got to be a way out.
It's the monkey fist where they used to catch monkeys.
Put in the banana and behind. It won't let go of the banana or whatever.
Yeah, so the hand can go in slender-like, but once it's gripping something, it can't. The fist won't come out.
There you go.
Well,
Same difference.
monkey fist, powder monkey. It's all coming around. Powder monkey fist. Oh, that could have been my riddle link.
Powder monkey fist.
Oh,
So when, if you could possibly describe for us a time that you have been the most stuck.
the most stuck. I was stuck in an elevator once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went. Actually, it's kind of a funny story. I was working one job, and I left at lunch to go to a job interview for another job. Didn't I'm just going out for lunch, and then went to the job interview. And when I left the interview, got stuck in the elevator.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, oh man, they're gonna figure this out. Like I'm cheating on my workplace.
Right.
And turns out that that's a solid excuse anyway. Like
Being stuck in an elevator?
yeah, I was like, I didn't tell them I was on a job interview. But anyway, was going to leave and it just stopped, classic, right out of a movie. I was alone in the elevator.
What kind of restaurant were you at that has...
Wasn't a restaurant.
Were we at a Subway for lunch?
What?
I'm trying to think of your boss going...
Where'd you go?
Where restaurants do you eat in that have elevators?
Oh, well, I worked downtown, so
Okay.
there's lots of tall buildings everywhere.
That'll do it.
So anyway, it stopped. It just stopped, and so you pick up the phone, you start to reassess. Like, do I try and make an escape? But pretty quickly.
I've seen Speed. I know how this ends.
Pretty quickly, there's a guy on a speaker like, "Hey, we know you're stuck. Trying to take care of this." And
Pop
then the
quiz,
door,
hot shot.
the door starts to open,
Ooh.
and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" At the top of what is my door, I see like, I don't know, 12 inches of the next floor.
Oh,
so
that's
there's a
not
maintenance guy with his head on the floor looking down at me. And he's like, "We're trying our best." And I was there for, I don't know, 90 minutes, 2 hours.
No.
They brought me a newspaper to read. I'm literally sprawled out. I'm the only one in there, right? So I'm sprawled out on the floor of the elevator reading the paper.
That would be terrifying.
No cell phone.
I'm thinking like Dennis Hopper all the way through this whole thing.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper was
Pull my finger.
From Speed, where he's going to blow up the elevator at the very beginning.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah. Pop quiz, hot shot.
That's right. Yeah, no, so that was the most stuck I think I've been.
That's pretty stuck.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying. That terrifying kind of stuck.
Have you been any level of stuck? I've been financially stuck countless times.
I think the most stuck related
I
things
just had to
involve
spend
my
$800 on my car this week.
Car and no gas.
Oh, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're stuck like on the freeway, kind of stuck. So not stuck in your mind and your poverty and your lack of fuel. The student things, but anyway, so that kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Well, we are heading into the home stretch.
All right.
What are we doing? Are we doing some riddlings?
Let's play a little game called Riddling.
Tell us
Riddling
about-
is a
tell us
game
about how that goes.
Riddling is a game that we like to play that takes a two-part trivia. Wow.
Hello.
It takes two trivia questions, 2 parts. And wow, this is the worst description. And requires a 2-part but overlapping answer. So let me just give you an example. This might help. So last week, our idiom was making a mountain out of a molehill, as you said already. And the idiom or the riddle link that we left all our listeners with was this. This 1969 song by the Rolling Stones is the Old English word for molehill. And so several answers came flying in. Everybody was correct. It was, you can't always get what you want. Mm-hmm. And the Old English word for molehill was want-to-tump.
Want-to-tump.
So the correct answer is, you can't always get what you want to tump.
Can't always get what you want to tump.
They might change it, re-record it.
Want to tump.
So that's how it works. So I've got a couple, you got a couple.
Let me go first here.
You go first.
All right. Get your digit out of that hole. So stupid. Get your digit out of that hole. It's in a flagged off area.
If I had a dime for every time you said that to me. Okay, get your digit out of that hole. What?
It's in a flagged off area.
Okay, so get your finger out. Get your finger out of bounds.
That's it.
There we go. Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
I hope you get this one.
Me too.
Stop procrastinating and get it done while you say the slogan of the show Survivor.
Get your finger out, wit out, something out last.
Oh, yeah.
Out. Smart?
Outwit, outplay.
Outplay, outlast.
Get your finger out, wit, outplay, outlast.
That's a good one. Well, let me get you the third one here. Elite British Aviators acronym is the premier geocache grabber.
What? Say that again.
Elite British Aviators acronym is the premier geocache grabber.
RAF. Oh, is it RAFTF?
Yes.
Oh, FTF in geocaching is first to find.
First to find. You're the premier geocache grabber.
RAFTF. Wow, all letters. I like
it.
That's nice.
That was cracked me up.
Okay, well, I got one I'll leave for all our listeners, but why don't you tell them how they can get a hold of us?
You can reach us at the.village.idiom via Instagram or an email, thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at 3 Minutes Gone.
Coolio. Here it is. If your finger loves firing a gun, just wait. If your finger loves firing a gun, you might say this on March 17th.
Okay, let me think of it. I know I don't get it. That's a good one. Okay, well, I'll chew on that for a bit. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Top of the morning.
Have a great trip with your family.
Sounds good, man. Well, I am Skinny.
I am Jurassic. Pull my finger, Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Yeah, I found one.
Last 3 minutes gone.